Now we'll take leaders' questions under Standing Order 36. Deputy Marylou McDonald, please.
Margaret Ceann Comhairle. Taoiseach, last week Bord Gáis announced massive price hikes for gas and electricity, adding a further €350 a year to the average gas bill and an additional €340 for electricity. So that's the government credit wiped out before it even arrives. And meanwhile, nothing has been done to cut the cost of home heating oil, which has doubled in 12 months. So workers and families have been hit by a barrage of energy hikes, more than 30 in the last year. And they're already struggling to keep up, and they were left absolutely stunned by the scale of the latest increases. The Russian criminal invasion of Ukraine has brought massive disruption and volatility to global energy markets. So everything that can be done, should be done, must be done to mitigate the impact and cut bills for hard-pressed households. But your Finance Minister and Fine Gael colleague Paschal Donoghue has said that government has no plan to intervene with further measures before October's budget. Taoiseach, October is 7 months away. That's a very long time for households when every single euro counts and when the sky-high bills just keep coming and coming for the rent, for mortgage, for groceries, for childcare, for insurance. It's endless. Everything going up and up, nothing coming down. And people are living under real stress and pressure. Research from St. Vincent de Paul shows that many people are now cutting back on essential heating and electricity use. Families are foregoing other necessities, including food. Indeed, the head of Alone has said that many older people now choose between heating or eating. And nobody should have to make a choice like that. And we also know that this isn't the end. We know that there are more energy hikes coming down the tracks. The real impact of Russia's invasion of Ukraine on energy costs won't in fact be felt until the back end of the year. So we need to get ahead of this, Taoiseach, we need to get on top of this crisis, and people expect government to respond with speed and urgency that matches the unprecedented difficulties that they now face, to intervene with measures that work, that will get energy bills down, that will keep money in people's pockets, and to give some breathing space. They need us, they need you to do this now, Taoiseach. And I understand that government can't do everything, but you can do more. So you must go further to cushion households from these hikes. Expecting people to wait for 7 more months is just a non-runner. Mar ní féidir le hibrithe agus le teaghlaí canál suas leis na hardaithe fuinneamh seo. Tá sé ráite ag an ara airgeadais go méid daoine fannacht go dtí an buiséad I mí dhearra fór sula dhéanann an rialtas go níomhú. Tá sé sin do ghlacha, caithfí an rialtas go níomhú inniu chun na bilí fuinneamh a ísliú. So Taoiseach, I'm asking that you do 2 things and that they are done urgently. Firstly, to engage the European Commission and to remove VAT on energy bills for at least a period of 3 months. And secondly, Taoiseach, I'm asking that excise duty on home heating oil be removed. These are 2 specific measures that will bring the cost of energy and fuel down for struggling households and indeed for business.
Thanks very much, Deputy. At the outset, I want to acknowledge the fact that energy prices are rising in Ireland. We're seeing an unprecedented increase in the cost of energy, not just in Ireland, but also around the world. We see that in the increase in the cost of petrol, and in the increase in the cost of diesel, in the increase of the cost of natural gas, and of course, the cost of electricity and home heating oil. And that is really squeezing people. It's making bills very hard to pay and squeezing many households. It's affecting business as well, and it's affecting those on the lowest incomes in particular. As the Deputy acknowledged, this is largely being caused, if not entirely being caused, by factors beyond the control of those of us in this House and this government. It's being driven by supply chain difficulties and a supply and demand mismatch linked to the pandemic, and that has been exacerbated in the last few weeks because of Russia's war on Ukraine. And the government will do whatever we can to help people to ease the burden, but we can't do everything. But we will do what we can. So far, we've committed €1 billion, €1 billion already to help people with the cost of fuel and energy. That included the increase in the fuel allowance back in October, an additional increase of €125 for anyone in receipt of the fuel allowance, which people would have received in the past week. There's been the reduction in excise on green diesel, diesel and petrol of around 15 to 20 cents. That was done only last week, and over the course of the next few weeks, people will see €200 being deducted from their electricity bill. So that is €1 billion, €1 billion already dedicated to helping people with the cost of fuel and the cost of energy. That is really significant. Contrast that to Northern Ireland, where I've seen Michelle O'Neill praise yourselves, praise Sinn Féin for giving a €200 deduction to low-income households only and nothing to those in middle incomes. Our response here has been much greater than the response in Northern Ireland and by Sinn Féin in particular. I think it's pertinent to make that point, given the contrast in what you do in the north, where you have to make decisions, and what you call for here south of the border, where you don't have to make decisions or make anything add up or even know whether it's legal or not. And that contrast is, I think, apparent to anyone. In relation to further action, of course the government will give consideration to further actions that we can take to help people and help businesses with the bills. But we do need to be honest with people. We've already set aside €1 billion to reduce the cost of energy. That's already happening. We have to see what else we can do beyond that that's affordable. There are many other demands on the public purse, as people will know. The budget is still in deficit. We have to bear that in mind as well. And also we have to consult with the European Commission and our European partners, because we do have a VAT directive, and that doesn't allow us to do what you've called for. That would have to be agreed on a European level. And as you'll have learned a few weeks ago, what you called for in relation to excise was also not possible to do because of the energy tax directive.
Deputy McDonald.
So yes, this is global. Yes, this is squeezing particularly those on lower incomes. And yes, there are international factors beyond your control. Yes, yes, yes. But no, you should not sit on your hands. Your finance minister has said that you are doing nothing additional for the next 7 months. I would like you to clarify that that's not the case, and that in fact you are going to do more. And I've given you 2 concrete proposals. On VAT and on excise on home heating oil. Both of these things can be done, Count Corla. In respect of VAT, yes, it has to be done in conjunction with the European Commission. But just bear in mind that as far back as October 2021, and then again in March 2022, this month, the European Commission has been very clear in providing toolboxes, toolkits for member states to intervene in precisely the way that I am outlining. So I asked you to ensure the removal of VAT, and I asked you to ensure the removal of all excise on home heating oil. And as you know, there is excise on home heating oil, lads. So the homework is done on this side of the floor. But the more important thing, Count Corla, is that we get action now, because we're all agreed that people are struggling. I'm making 2 clear proposals. I would like an assurance, Tánaiste, that contrary to the assertion of your finance minister, that you will pursue these actions.
Thank you very much. Tánaiste.
Thank you.
Thanks, Deputy. I think we all agree that households and families and businesses are suffering from the increase in energy costs, and we all agree that the €1 billion intervention that the government has already approved is greater than anything Sinn Féin has done in Northern Ireland, and that's being seen now in the reduction in excise and petrol and diesel, the €200 being taken off people's electricity bills, the increase in the fuel allowance that people received in the last couple of weeks, €1 billion to help families ease the burden of the cost of high energy. And that's what we've done to date. But the best we can do, and all we can do, we need to be honest with people about this, is to ease the burden. And of course we'll examine additional measures in cooperation with the European Commission, the European Union, to help families and help businesses a little bit more. And that is part of the discussions that are going to take place in Brussels later on this week.
Thank you, Tánaiste. Now